afternoon and welcome to the Midday News on 3FM. My name is Beatrice Adu. The news is also live on Kesme 107.1 FM and across the world at 3news.com. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Government receives bilateral creditors buy-in on proposed debt restructuring terms. Meanwhile, Finance Minister maintains the local currency, the cedi, is still strong despite sharp depreciation against major trading currencies. Also on the program, Ghana Police Service withdraws injunction application seeking to halt upcoming Dumso Must Stop demonstration against erratic power supply. Also this afternoon, Ghana National Petroleum Tanker Drivers Union calls off strike following agreement to implement their delayed conditions of service framework. And much later, 4 Media General journalists honored by Merck Foundation and Rebecca Foundation for their impactful reporting on health and women empowerment issues across Africa. Thank you very much for joining us now. The Minister for Finance, Amin Adam, says the Ghana cedi is still very strong, despite what is currently being experienced by Ghanaians. As you may be aware, the dollar is now trading at a little over 15 cedis, and Mr. Amin Adam, while speaking at the monthly update on the economy, also said that there is enough forex supply in the system.
And therefore, people may see the cedi depreciating fast recently. If you compare the depreciation year to date, from January to date, the cedi has depreciated by about 14.2%. Same time last year, it depreciated by 20.7%. So on that, comparative basis, we are safe to conclude that the cedi is still strong, very strong. We expect the stability to improve into the medium term as we complete debt restructuring, as we make progress on fiscal consolidation, and as we improve on our reserves over the medium term. The recent pressures on the cedi that I have referred to are largely as a result of the strengthening of the US dollar against major trading currencies across the world, including ours. And therefore, we expect that as the U.S. currency also moderates in its trend, the effect will be felt on our currency. Another reason is the seasonal forex demand, including elevated demand from corporate institutions. Then also we have paid contractors. I want to say that the complaints of no money and no money and no money, we don't hear that anymore because we have paid contractors. As of now, year to date, I think we've spent some 49 billion Ghana cedis. Same time last year, we did 41 billion Ghana cedis. And so this demonstrates that a lot of liquidity, cedi liquidity, is in the market. And we have seen some people looking for US dollars to buy with the cedis that we have put out there. And so these are some of the reasons, including the payments to IPPs, independent power producers. You'll recall that we started negotiating with them, as a result of which we had to make a bullet payment, one-off payment, amounting to some 400 million United States dollars. And so they all put pressure on the cedi. But also, what is known to all of us, the common reason is speculation. So much speculation out there. And we need people to know that this speculation is not helping us. It's not helping the economy. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ministry of Finance will continue to work with the Bank of Ghana to implement measures to address the rapid depreciation of the cedi. And some of the measures that we have already put in place, and I was told this morning that we are already seeing the results of the effect of this policies and measures we have put in place. So we are fast-tracking the fiscal consolidation process through rationalizing spending and enhancing revenue mobilization, intensification of the Gold for Oil program, and appropriate FX interventions by the Bank of Ghana. We are also intensifying through the Bank of Ghana the Gold for the Reserve program, what they also call the Gold Purchases program. The disbursement of the third tranche under the IMF program, which we are expecting in June, is also going to support the building of foreign exchange reserves. And also disbursement from other ongoing projects, including the $150 million facility, World Bank facility, which Parliament approved last week, Friday, will all come in.
And you heard the Finance Minister, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam. We'll return to this story and bring you some details and a bit of analysis very shortly. But let's bring you the story about fuel tanker drivers calling off their sit-down strike following an agreement on implementation of the delayed conditions of service. Now, the Ghana National Petroleum Tanker Drivers Union announced an indefinite sit-down strike on Tuesday over the failure to implement a new framework on remuneration. At a meeting with all stakeholders, including the National Petroleum Authority, NPA, Association of Oil Marketing Companies, and the Ministry of Energy, the parties assented to the proposed framework, which aims to better the working conditions for the tanker drivers. The new condition of service is expected to come into force by the end of May this year. George Quaining has been following this. He joins us live on the line. George, what more details do you have on this latest development?
Thank you so much for having me. And rightly from the union, this very intervention is timely. The fact that it has really affected a possible shortage of fuel across the country. And for the president, who is George Nyawunu, it has given him a good image because prior to this, the workers really thought that he was in bed with the MP because of the delay and the prolonged, approval of the implementation of the framework. Because when they go and then they come back, nothing is done. There's still delay. So the workers thought he was in bed with the MPA, and so it was always some sort of hostile treatment meted out to him. So this is good for him and also good for workers in terms of their living standards.
All right. So they've called off the strike. It means that our fears have been put aside, as it were.
Exactly. Yeah. So fears have been allayed. So the imminent, shortage of fuel will not be recorded. It's been averted. Well, that's what it means. So when we went there today, the trucks, the tankers were working. They were, cutting fuel, and so that possible shortage will never be experienced.
Thank you very much, George Quaining, reporting live for us, bringing us an update. And as you heard, the fuel tanker drivers have called off the sit-down strike following an agreement on implementation of the delayed conditions of service. These are expected to kick-start by the end of this month. Now, the Ghana Police Service has withdrawn its injunction application seeking to halt the Yvonne Nelson-led demonstration against erratic power supply, known locally as Dumso. This decision comes after the organizers of the protest submitted a revised plan to the police, changing the date and location of the vigil. Originally scheduled for May 25, 2024, the demonstration will now take place on June 8, 2024 at 2 p.m. at the University of Ghana. Now, the change was confirmed in a newsletter sent by the organizers to the Accra Regional Police Command, addressing the initial concerns raised by the security service. Now, the police had initially filed for an injunction at the High Court to prevent the Dumso Must Stop demonstration, citing security and logistical concerns. They had also suggested that the organizers consider an alternative alternative venue. The revised plan appears to have mitigated these concerns, leading to the withdrawal of the legal action. Noble Crosby Annan is there. He'll be joining us very shortly, but before we speak to Crosby, Selim Dramani, one of the conveners, spoke to us earlier. Let's listen to him.
Because of what has actually happened before the police filed the application to restrain us from using the Revolution Square. The Revolution Square was actually the bone of contention between us and the police. So we decided to change the venue and also to change the time, the dates, because choosing the Revolution Square, we actually told the public why we chose the Revolution Square, because the Revolution Square holds a certain historical significance and its proximity to the presidency, the seat of government. So that's why we chose that place. So the police insistence on us changing the venue, that the venue should be changed. We complied with Article 41I, which says that the citizens of Ghana must always cooperate with the lawful agencies in the maintenance of law and order. So we complied with that constitutional provision to write a letter to the police announcing a change of venue and change of date. Per the Public Order Act, there will have to be a meeting again. So this thing will be like starting anew or starting afresh. So the police, on the back of the new letter submitted or a recent letter submitted to them, will have to arrange a meeting or invite us for a meeting to discuss the modalities for this very one that we announced to the public through the police, of which letter they have received.
And you heard the Selim Dramado. He is one of the conveners for the Dumso Must Stop protest. Let's return to our first story about that press conference by the Finance Minister, Mohammed Amin Adam. I'm joined on the line now by Professor John Gache. He is with the University of Cape Coast in the Central Region. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Dr. Amin Adam says that the cedi is very strong despite the recent depreciation. Do you agree with him?
I'm not sure he's talking to Ghanaians and Ghanaian business people and individuals. We do know that we are all crying about the performance of the cedi. It's actually escalating cost of doing business. It's escalating cost of importation. It's impacting on price development in the country. It's making execution of contract overpriced for government. It has increased the debt portfolio of the country. And therefore, this performance cannot be a robust performance, cannot be a better performance. But this is a performance that actually spells woes of the Ghanaian economy.
You say you don't think the minister is talking to Ghanaians. Why do you think he would tell us that this is the situation when really Ghanaians are experiencing something different?
Well, when Guta and co are talking about the challenges that they are facing, the cost implication of the cedi to them, you only come to tell them that the cedi is very strong. Is that the answer to their plight? So that's what I'm saying, that he's not speaking to Ghanaians.
What does that tell you about the mind of the government or even the ministry in looking at the challenges that people are currently facing?
I think their mind is far, far, far away from the reality that people are facing. If you are a serious government, you don't come to tell people who are crying, calling upon you, can we have a meeting so that we have stakeholder dialogue to see what we can do together to give some strength and stability to the cedi. You don't come to tell them that this cedi that you are complaining about is very strong. You don't do that. It means that you are not in tune with the reality. It means that you don't care about what they are going through. You have given up.
Let's talk about some of the details Dr. Amin Adam, for instance, gave. He again said that we have enough forex in the system, and then went on to talk about we achieving zero meeting zero central bank borrowing and non-concessional borrowing limit. And so I'll just read a bit of what he said, which is a ceiling. So that is the zero central bank borrowing, a ceiling cumulative of 4.3 billion for the primary deficit, or on a commitment basis, zero accumulation of external debt payment, and a non-concessional borrowing limit of $66.2 million in present value terms. What do these mean for the continuous recovery of the economy moving forward?
What he's doing is just about the conditions set for them by the IMF. So for them, they are managing the economy to meet the IMF conditionalities. They are not managing the economy to have a reflection on the reality that people are facing. The reality that people are facing is much more than what he's talking about. He says that there is enough forest in the system. Enough forest in the system, then why are we experiencing this rampant depreciation? Why are we experiencing that? So I do not think that he's speaking to Ghanaian, he's speaking to the IMF. Those are the conditions the IMF put before them. So for them, so long as their books reflect the IMF conditions, they are managing the economy. But the economy is not for the IMF. The economy is for Ghanaian businesses, it's for Ghanaian people, and it's for government of Ghana. So that might be the reflection. So I think Dr. Amin should have a better reflection of what the Ghanaian economy means to us, and then he tried to model his communication to reflect that.
We'll have to end it here. Thank you very much. And that was Professor John Gachi. He is a senior lecturer with the University of Cape Coast. Thank you for speaking to us now. For most relatives or patients at the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital who have traveled far to Kumasi to seek medical treatment for their sick family, the only option is to sleep with in the open due to their inability to afford accommodation. This has been a concern to management of the hospital, even though it is not the responsibility of the hospital to provide accommodation for relatives of patients. Work on the 190-bed hostel facility for relatives of patients at the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital is, however, nearing completion to stop them from using the hospital compound as a sleeping area. And I'm joined on the line now by Ibrahim Abubakar. He's our correspondent in the Ashanti region. Ibrahim, obviously a relief for relatives, but when is the facility expected to be ready, though?
Well, hopefully by the close of the year. That's what management is telling us. Currently, you come to Komfo-Anokye, like you rightly said, you realize that most of these relatives are scattered, sleeping on the bare floor because they can't be able to afford these accommodations. So this will come as a relief for them when it's completed. Now, we are told that the facility is around 80% complete. So by the close of the year or somewhere in 2-3 months' time, the entire project will be completed.
Much as our core mandate as a hospital does not essentially include the provision of such services for relatives, to the extent that some of these patients would definitely come with relatives because of the states in which they find themselves, it has become necessary for us to make that kind of provision. And so, cognizant of that responsibility, this was entered into with a private contractor and a BOT arrangement for him to build a facility like that would house the relatives who come with such patients. Like I told you, it's about 80% complete. When we have the opportunity to look at it ourselves, we saw the beds that were present, we saw the doors, the floors were done, the tiling had been done. There are a few fixtures that need to be put in place, and once those things are done, I'm sure that we would have use of it. I am confident that by the end of this year, it would be on stream.
So we just had the Professor Ochre Adai Mensah. He's the Chief Executive Officer of the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital. Let's wrap up our conversation with Ibrahim Abubakar. Ibrahim, let's look at the retooling of the second largest hospital in the country. We are hearing there's some intervention with as regards dialysis service there. What can you tell us, really?
Exactly. Somewhere in March, we reported that Komfo-Anokye was operating with only 1.5 dialysis machine. We say 1.5 because one was fully functional and the other was partially. And you look at the number of people who come in for dialysis service, it means they have to refer others to other facilities. And after that, we are told that there has been some interventions. As I speak to you, the hospital itself has been able to procure some dialysis machines, and they've also gotten support from other donors. So currently, they have about 7, I would say, of the dialysis machines operating. So what it means is that persons who will come to Komfo for dialysis service will be able to be attended to as they should be. Professor Otrade Mensah again has been speaking on this.
You would have heard me say in times past that Komfo had only 1.5 dialysis machines because we had 2, but one was working at fault. Presently, we have 4, thanks to Springfield. Springfield Oil gave us 2 refurbished ones. I had a conversation with them last night around 10 p.m. and it is likely that they are going to give us 3 more refurbished ones. But the hospital again uses internally generated funds and has purchased 3 brand new dialysis machines, which you saw. The installation is being done. I'm expecting 2 brand new ones, possibly by the end of this month. But I must, however, say that the new Minister for Health is intent on ensuring that he equips the various health facilities with dialysis machines. And so, for example, there's been a meeting of all the CEOs in the teaching hospitals together with him and some engineers, and he's looking at bringing some more machines to Komfo.
And you heard the Chief Executive Officer of the Komfo Teaching Hospital, Professor Beatrice Adu. Earlier, you heard our reporter, Ibrahim Abubakar, giving us a situational report from there. Let's go to the Upper West region, where students of Lasia Tulu Senior High School in the Wild West District are currently having their meals in an open space due to the destruction of their dining hall complex by a fire on the 10th of March. The fire also burnt newly constructed decks, dining tables, and some assorted food items belonging to the school's kitchen. Ibrahim Wangara, who is our colleague in the Upper West region, has visited the school. He joins us live on the phone. Ibrahim, what additional information can you provide after your latest visit to the school following this fire incident we're talking about?
Yes, it has been 2 months and days since the Lasia Tulu Senior High School multi-purpose hall got burnt along their foodstuffs, like you rightly put it. But in our short visit to the school, we've noticed that ever since the destruction, students, their meals are prepared in an open space, and they take their meals at the same open place, either in the rainy or under the hot sun. So that has been on daily basis how these students go through. But residents or authorities within the school are eager and then calling on people to come to their aid so that at least a temporary structure can be put in place to curtail some of these incidents, considering the health hazard or health implications being posed to students. Headmaster of Lasia Tulu Senior High School has been speaking to us on this, and let's take a listen to him.
The dining hall was the biggest space on campus. It was used for almost everything, including entertainment, the TV, everything. Now it's bent. The kitchen space to also bent. Now the cooks are managing with a place where they are using to cook. It has started raining, and it's a big challenge. Then the feeding that is done outside, you can imagine when it's raining. But the main challenge is the temporary kitchen. If you don't get that one, there will be a problem. The entertainment, for now, we have no entertainment gadgets.
All right. So we had a headmaster of that school there. Wangara, briefly before you go, there's been a call for help. Has there been any response yet?
Yes, the Old Students Association of the school, spanning from 1997 to 2023 batch, has done some significant contribution, and they have been able to raise an amount of 68,718 Ghana cedis, of which they spent in purchasing kitchen items to assist the school. So the president of the Old Student Association of Lasia Senior High School has also been shedding light on the items that they have provided to the students.
We don't have that, but thank you very much, Ibrahim Wangara, for bringing us updates. Some good news for that school there. Thank you very much. Now, back to Accra. The Human Rights Court of the Accra High Court has dismissed the reliefs sought by Food Sovereignty Ghana against the National Biosafety Authority. In her judgment, Justice Barbara Tete Chawe indicated that the plaintiffs failed to substantiate their claims. Among others, Food Sovereignty Ghana and 3 other groups were seeking declarations on whether required processes and laws have been adhered to in the ongoing plans to commercialize GMO foods. Lord Edwasari was in court for us. He joins us live on the phone. Lord, what more can you tell us from this case? Hello, Lord.
Yeah, basically.
Yes, what more can you tell us from the court dismissing the case of Food Sovereignty Ghana?
Right, so among other things, the court found that the relief being sought by Food Sovereignty Ghana was unsubstantiated. So one of the reliefs or claims that they were hoping the court would deal with was what they were alleging that the NBA was commercially releasing the GM products onto the market. But in the judgment, the judge noted that this was unsubstantiated. Again, they noted that in the area that the research was being done, people were not, or the residents living there were not educated on what the GM products were about and as to whether they're on the market or not. Again, this was unsubstantiated according to the court, because the NBA, National Biosafety Authority, did enough as far as holding engagements to educate their members within that enclave. This was somewhere in the northern region. Now, there was however an order by the court that all products, after the research by the National Biosafety Authority, they are supposed to label all the GM products which will be eventually released on the market after the extensive work and research is done. And so these are some of the things that the court said. One thing that came out also was that the plaintiffs were claiming that GM products were being imported from the Nigerian market.
So that was Lord Edwasari reporting live from the court. We can listen to the lawyer for the group, Wayoga Namanti, who spoke to the press after.
So the fact that the court has said that the plaintiff's case has been dismissed based on the plaintiff not substantiating whether or not enough education has been done, whether or not Ghanaians are aware, those are the reasons the plaintiff. But the court made consequential orders, and these are very important orders. So to us, it's a victory. What are these orders? The orders are that the National Biosafety Authority is supposed to label all GMOs in Ghana. That's victory for the plaintiff. So today, you and I, when we go to buy cowpea, go to buy the rice they are bringing, the 14 they just recently said they are going to give to Ghana, maize and soya, they are supposed to label them. And that is why we came to court. We came to court only to tell Ghana that if you want to bring GMO to our doorstep, if you want Monsanto and Syngenta and these GMO companies to produce GMOs and bring them to Ghana for Ghanaians to eat, label them. Make sure that when I go to Mokola Market, when I go to the shopping malls, I'll see that this maize is GMO. From today, we'll be monitoring the NBA so that these orders that the court has given out there, they follow these orders. If they don't follow these orders, your guess is as good as mine. We'll come back to court to enforce them to do that. That's what they should rest assured. So today, Ghana has won, and today, GMO has been exposed. The foreign multinational companies, I'm speaking to you, Monsanto, Syngenta, where government is telling you you have been exposed. You cannot dump GMOs onto our Ghanaian markets.
And you heard there Wayoga Namanti. He is lawyer for the Food Sovereignty Ghana. And that's how we end the news here on 3FM. Our top stories. Government receives bilateral creditors buying on proposed debt restructuring terms. You also heard the finance minister saying that the cedi is very strong despite current depreciation. Economist disagrees with him. Also, Ghana Police Service withdraws injunction application seeking to halt upcoming Dumso must stop demonstration against the erratic power supply. And Petroleum Tanker Drivers Association union calls off industrial action. My name is Beatrice Adu. Thank you very much for joining us today. Log on to 3news.com for more news. Have a good afternoon.
Accra gets busy on this frequency. 92.7 3 FM.
Here's lights, camera, music. The stage is set, the stars are ready, and Ghana's biggest night is here. The 25th Telesol Ghana Music Awards Night happening live on Saturday, 1st June at the Grand Arena from 7 p.m. Be part of the extravaganza of rhythm, sheer talent, and high fashion, plus all the drama of who wins what. 170 nominees, 30 awards, plus 18 superstars, all performing live. You can't miss this. Book your tickets now. Starting for 500 Ghana cedis on star 713 star 33 star 25 hash, or call our hotline on 0501 288520. The 25th Telesol Ghana Music Awards, powered by Chatterhouse, supported by Guinness, Captain Morgan, Close Up, British Council, TV3, 3FM, and sponsored by Telecel, connecting energies. Celebration. Our music is.
Accra gets busy on this frequency. 92.7 3 FM.
Hello there, good afternoon and welcome to Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7. Coming up, government blames recent depreciation of the cedi on payments of contractors. We'll hear from Finance Minister Dr. Amin Adam. And also, Bank of Ghana set to announce new policy rates as it concludes 118th Monetary Policy Committee meeting today.
We will appreciate it if at least it remains the same level rather than increasing it, because we don't think that it will go down.
Well, so ahead of that announcement, the business community is upbeat about a favorable policy rate plus Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy demands transparency from the National Petroleum Authority on the $80 per LPG levy.
The LPG user today has not started benefiting from this $80 per metric. So why should I pay for something I have not benefited?
I am Michael Ogbodu. I'll bring you details of our top stories and more shortly. Please stay. Well, thank you for staying. Straight into our top story. The government has blamed the recent payment of contractors for the current depreciation of the cedi. The cedi has so far this year depreciated by about 14%. Speaking at a press conference held by his outfit to update the country on the economy, Finance Minister Dr. Amin Adam indicated that almost 50 billion cedis have so far been paid to contractors across the country.
The announcement, which is eagerly anticipated by market analysts and financial stakeholders, will be made during a press briefing scheduled for Monday, May 27, 2024. The MPC's deliberations over the past few days have centered on assessing the current...
On the cedi that I have referred to are largely as a result of the strengthening of the US dollar against major trading currencies across the world, including ours. And therefore, we expect that as the U.S. currency also moderates in its strength, the effect will be felt on our currency. Another reason is seasonal forex demand, including elevated demand from corporate institutions. Then also, we have paid contractors. I want to say that the complaints of no money and no money and no money we don't hear that anymore because we have paid and paid contractors. As of now, year to date, I think we've spent some 49 billion Ghana cedis. Same time last year, we did 41 billion Ghana cedis. And so this demonstrates that a lot of liquidity, city liquidity, is in the market.
The minister further added that Cabinet has approved the recapitalization of the National Investment Bank, NIB. He indicates that over 2 billion cedis will be released to carry out this process. The bank has since been in distress with concerns over its sustainability.
Cabinet has approved the plan for restructuring and recapitalization of the National Investment Bank. This will require a programmed equity injection of about 2.3 billion Ghana cedis. And this will be done over the next 12 months. The first tranche of 400 million Ghana cedis is expected to be transferred to the National Investment Bank before the end of this month, May 2024. And this demonstrates our commitment to implementing the recapitalization and restructuring program.
So that was Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam speaking there. Away from that, the Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana is expected to conclude its 118th meeting today. The four-day meeting, which commenced on Tuesday, May 21, sought to review developments in the economy and enable the committee adjust its policy rate. This 3 Business News Desk report has more.
Which is eagerly anticipated by market analysts and financial stakeholders, will be made during a press briefing scheduled for Monday, May 27, 2024. The MPC's deliberations over the past few days have centered on assessing the current economic conditions, including inflation trends, exchange rate stability, and overall economic growth. These discussions will culminate in a decision on whether to adjust the bank's policy rate, a key instrument used to influence the cost of borrowing and control inflation. The policy rate, which currently stands at 29%, plays a crucial role in the monetary policy framework of the Bank of Ghana. It impacts lending rates, savings rates, and overall economic activity. With recent economic data indicating marginal decline in inflation from 25.8% in March to 25% in April, the decision taken by the MPC will be closely watched for indications of the central bank's stance on managing the economy.
Now, away from that, the Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy (CEMENT) is demanding transparency from the National Petroleum Authority (NPA). The center is urging the NPA to explain how the fund collected from the $80 levy per metric ton of LPG are being used. Executive Director of the Center, Benjamin Nsia, argues that the levy is both unfair and hindering progress.
If you look at how much NPA has made for the introduction of these $80, NPA has made not less than $4 million introduction of these $80 per metric since April 2024. And not less than $4 million NPA has not made account or has not introduced or has not even exposed the LPG user to what that money will be used for. The LPG user today has not started benefiting from these $80 per metric. So
that was Benjamin Nsia. He's the Executive Director of the Center of Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy. Before we leave you, as the woes of the city deepens, 3 Businesses Menuafo explores its impact on Ghanaian living abroad who have to transfer money home for one or reason or the other.
They're always requesting more. They're always requesting more because they'll tell you, if I can use the local language, they'll tell you,
no one is interested to see the city devaluing as it is. We all have a greater impact on us, on those of us who are outside the country.
The burden has become overwhelming, because our families back at home depend on us so much, and now they put a lot of pressure on us to send more money, so that they can keep up.
So the full report airs on TV3 News 360 time tonight at 7 p.m. Please don't miss that. And that will be all for today's edition of Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7. For more business stories, please check out our website. It's 3news.com/business. I am Michael Ogbodu. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe.